Hey y'all, and happy self-care Sunday. So I know it's been a little while since I have posted some videos for self-care Sunday. I've really been trying to get my thoughts together, get my plan together for healthy pleasures in general, and make sure that I am running at the capacity that I want to run so that I can give the world what I know I have to give. But for this month and just for the year in general, I want each month to have a theme as far as Self-Care Sunday is concerned. And January is Mental Wellness Month. So that's one thing just to keep in mind. But for this month, the topic that I wanted to discuss was compassion. If you've been following the posts for January thus far and the Mantra Mondays, you will see that they all align with compassion. But today, when I'm discussing compassion specifically, I do want to talk about compassion in regards to compassion fatigue. Most of you guys know that I am a therapist. I do work in the mental health field. And one of the things that we learn about in grad school is compassion fatigue. And essentially what that means is every day we see people and we hear the struggles and the needs that they have. And if you are a therapist, most times you're a very compassionate and empathetic person. And so if you are compassionate, there are levels of being compassionate, and there's a such thing as being too compassionate, which is where compassionate fatigue comes into play. And that's where you get so wrapped up in giving compassion to others that it starts to take a toll on you and your mental health. And I know everyone isn't a therapist, but I know most of us have friendships, relationships, and our supports for family members, and that's okay, and that's a good thing to be in, a good role to be in. But with that, we also have to consider how much we allow ourselves to take on when it comes to the needs of others. We have to be able to practice boundaries and still be there for the people we love and the people that we care about. I had a podcast that I was able to be a part of over the past weekend, the Minority Trailblazer 100th episode podcast, and one of the questions that came up was, how do you handle or interact with others who have more severe mental health needs? And my answer, and I posted this video on my Instagram, but my answer was to be compassionate and to be understanding, but also to set those boundaries for yourself. And when I say set boundaries, I mean knowing how much you can take on when it comes to the needs of other people. You can be there for people, you can be understanding, you can be compassionate, but you don't have to be their problem solver. You don't have to be the listening ear all the time. You have to be able to say and know how much you can handle, how much you can hear, how much you can deal with, and be able to tell the people that you love when you cannot be in that capacity that they need you to be in, and that's okay. And I know that's a hard thing for us to do, especially if you're the type of person who I am and still struggle with from time to time, is telling people no because you don't want to disappoint other people. And that's completely understandable. But at the same time, if you do take on way too much when it comes to being compassionate and understanding of the needs of others, then you risk experiencing compassion fatigue, and that can be a hard place to be in, because now not only are you worried about your needs as it relates to your mental health, but now you're taking on the needs of someone else, and so that is a lot to juggle. Some ways you can do that is definitely having a conversation. I do not recommend just all of a sudden cutting people off if you have been that listening ear for them, because then that can be strange to the person, and that's when you risk severing some relationships, or making people feel as if you are unsupported or if you changed. So my recommendation would be to talk to the people around you and let them know. One thing that me and my friends have started doing is asking each other if we are in a place where we're able to handle what that person has to vent about that day. And that allows the person who is receiving the information to make the conscious decision of whether or not that's something that they can manage. And that's good, because then that allows the listener to know that you're compassionate and understanding of their needs as well. So that's definitely one way you can do it. The other, thing I would recommend is just to be honest with the person that you've been the listening ear for, and just letting them know, if you see something that maybe, can help them. For example, if a friend is struggling and they're coming with the same scenario over and over again, recommending options for them. Therapy is a hard thing for a lot of people, but if you are the person who they have trusted to hear what's going on with them, to hear the advice that you may have to give, then I think a great piece of advice to give is to say, hey, maybe you should, consider talking to someone about this, or being with an unbiased source who's able to help you sort through these things and help you come up with solutions. That way, it not only helps them, but it helps you as well, because then you don't have to be charged to be that person all the time and to risk having that compassion fatigue. So that's kind of my recommendations for that today. Definitely be compassionate and understanding of the needs of others. We're all going through something, and life can get very hard, and it's so helpful to know that you can have people in your corner that you trust and that you love, and that are willing to be there for you in your time of need. And not even that, we want people to be compassionate to us, and there's no way that we can expect compassion as far as we're concerned if we're not willing to give that same compassion to others. So that is my charge and my challenge for you guys on this Self-Care Sunday. I hope you have had an amazing week. If you did not have an amazing week, that's okay. It's no time like today to plan for next week and start over. Definitely prioritize some time for yourself today. Have your self-care plan for the week so that you're prioritizing your needs during the week, and being there for yourself. And I just wish you guys the happiest of weeks. Love y'all. I will catch y'all next Sunday, and look out for Mantra Monday. Bye, y'all.